Hello everybody, this is Johns Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-Minute Histories videos. And today I'm downtown at War Memorial Plaza, right by City Hall. In fact, right in front of City Hall, and behind me is the Black Soldier Monument that we're going to talk about today, also known as the Negro Soldier Monument, and a lot of other names. It's had at least 2 different locations as well, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm pleased that today I'm going to be joined by Lachelle Bynum. If you've been watching our videos, you'll recognize her from our video on Edmondson Village. And also our video on historic ghost signs. I think this is her 3rd time co-hosting with me, which I say makes her a regular, which is pretty neat. But before turning it over to Lachelle, let me just say a word or two about War Memorial Plaza. After World War I ended, Mayor William Broning and Governor Albert Ritchie commissioned a set of folks to come and study creating a memorial. They did a national search for an architect and came up with one in our own backyard, Lawrence Hall Fowler. You may know Fowler's other work. He was a rising star. He designed a number of really wonderful houses in Guilford, and also the library at Evergreen House, that house museum on North Charles Street, which, as a total aside, I kind of wish were mine, but sadly it's not. That's not my library. When he designed this plaza, he did it in a very classical architecture way. It is very symmetrical. It's a big rectangle. At one end is City Hall that is straight out of somewhere in France. At the other end is the War Memorial Building, which we'll talk do a video talk about on separately. A very imposing building. The plaza is flanked by sidewalks on either side and then shade trees beyond that. At one end are enormous concrete urns, and at the other end is a fountain. If you were plopped down here with a blindfold on, you would swear you were at some formal gardens in Paris. When the memorial was built here, it took out several historic buildings. It demolished several historic buildings, including the Holiday Street Theater, which historians believe was the first place where people publicly sang a new tune called The Defense of Fort McHenry, which of course went on to become the Star-Spangled Banner in our national anthem, but that's kind of an aside. The memorial was originally dedicated to the 1,752 soldiers who fell in World War I. In 1977, its scope was expanded, with William Donald Schaefer presiding, to include all Marylanders in foreign wars who lost their lives. Over the years, the plaza here has played host to innumerable events. It's kind of our most popular gathering place, public gathering place. Of course, many veterans parades here from the very beginning. In the 1960s, it played host to war protests. In the 1970s, it was the host of several chess tournaments. And then most recently, it was the host for a concert series called Charm City Live, and to a series of protests by Baltimore high school students, including my own, who gathered to protest a lack of gun safety laws. And it has played host to at least one presidential visit, or maybe president-elect visit. Barack Obama in 2009 came here on his whistle-stop train tour and spoke. And since 2007, the War Memorial Plaza has played host to loads of people coming here to take a look at the monument behind me. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Lachelle.
Black Soldier. Controversial? Yes. Because of wanting it placed in the Battle Monument Plaza, where it stood for more than 30 years, facing the north end of Calvert Street. Critics argued the addition of another sculpture could possibly diminish Battle Memorial Plaza's significance, and a monument representing one ethnic group as opposed to an individual can have a polarizing effect in the city. Black Soldier, Negro Soldier Monument, the Monument to the Black Soldier, and Negro War Heroes Monument. This statue, called by many names, was originally sculpted and named Black Soldier by James E. Lewis, who was commissioned in 1968 by an anonymous Midwest family. He agreed on the condition that the statue be placed in Baltimore. The $30,000 statue was installed in 1971 at the Battle Monument Plaza in complete military uniform. The 9-foot statue stands holding an upraised wreath and sash covered with medals of courage listing all American wars through the history of 1775 to 1975, paying tribute to the Negro soldiers from all branches of the service and from every American conflict. Delegate Clarence Davis and the African American Patriots Consortium, of which he is a member, wrote then Mayor Martin O'Malley, stating they voted unanimously to request that the monument to the black soldier be moved from its current location at Lexington and Calvert Street to the newly renovated War Memorial Plaza. Martin O'Malley did as requested expeditiously, prompting the move of the long ignored by many, including myself, the black soldier. After logistics and costs and constructions were worked out, James E. Lewis, who died in 1997, his widow and son, James E. Lewis Jr., gave their approval for the relocation of the black soldier. In January 2007, the statue that once was 9 foot would now become 13 feet due to the pedestal. He now stands tall, proud, and on his own in the War Memorial Plaza in front of City Hall. Now, art historian and archaeologist James E. Lewis. The black soldier was one of his most controversial sculptors of his career. At Morgan State College, the Carl J. Murphy Fine Arts Building, completed in 1960, was rededicated on December 1990 to the person responsible for its growth, development, naming it the James E. Lewis Museum of Art. I myself have seen the black soldier many times as I scurried between the courthouses on Calvert Street, never bothering to read the plaque. A quotation from the plaque reads, "Sleep in peace, slain in thy country's wars." It was in my research of the sculptor of the Frederick Douglass sculpture at Morgan that I discovered the black soldier and added him to my exhibit. Before I shot the photograph, I stood in awe for at least 5 minutes, feeling as though I betrayed him by ignoring his presence and his meaning for all these years. I agree with Raquel Guillory when she spoke of the move, saying it will be more prominent in a place where it should have been all along. Thank you, Baltimore.